Give everyone a couple more minutes and get started. All right, Ms. Anita, we're going to go ahead and get started with the roll call.
Roll call. Councilmember King.
Here.
Councilmember Moreno. Councilmember Morell. Councilmember Giarrusso. Councilmember Harris. We have 2 members. We do not have a quorum.
Well, we do have a voting item. So once we get a quorum, we'll go to that voting item.
We'll have the approval of the minutes and the contract. Yeah.
So we'll wait for a quorum to be established to move forward. So we'll get started with item number 4, which is the Treme Lafitte Group B project update. So do we have anyone from DPW here to speak on that? No. Was DPW made aware?
Yes.
Okay, so I did see the email that they responded that they will be here. So they're here for item number 4 and 5. So we'll wait for DPW to be present. We'll jump to item number 6, which is the ongoing concerns at the Algiers flea market. So we can get parking enforcement, code enforcement, and if we have anyone from revenue to come to the desk, please, just to discuss this briefly. While they're coming, just to give a little background, the Algiers flea market has been in Algiers on the expressway for quite some time. It's the first thing you see when you enter New Orleans coming from Jefferson Parish, and it's been quite a mess for some time. We're getting a fair amount of calls and conversation about the cleanliness of it, the unsightliness of it, and just the overall quality of life issues that the Algiers flea market presents. So we have a quick slideshow that was taken by myself and members of the staff this past weekend Saturday and Sunday, which are the days of operation for the Algiers Flea Market. So we're going to just kind of go through those, and I'll pause, and we can have members of members of code enforcement and parking enforcement, give them opportunity to further expound on the pictures on the screen. So we can start at the first set of pictures.
This is the first one.
Okay, so this is the first picture. You can see it there. Trash, and this is an open market. Trash, potholes. I'm not sure if that was some type of makeshift pothole filler. You can see the chickens in the cage. I'm not sure if that's to be sold or later cooked. At the flea market, there is some cooking going on, so I'm not really sure the purpose for the chickens in the cage. Not the most sanitary thing there. Let's continue with the slides. This one here really, and this is right by the chickens, so that's why I said I'm not sure it's a cook or not. You see the propane tanks, the gas tanks, the wires coming from the gas generator going inside the building. I'm gonna stop right there and have code enforcement kind of speak a little bit on this picture, the dangers of it, and is this a violation of code enforcement?
Okay. Council, good morning. Thank you for having us again. Yes.
Real quick, Mr. Davis, I see we have revenue. Is that revenue? Y'all can come to the front. This kind of y'all right on time with the Algiers Flea Market. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Okay. Good morning again, Council. In reference to the picture that's on the screen, yes, and we have fire here with us this morning too. Anytime that there are propane tanks, extension cords running through windows or anything, those things that can cause an explosion, that is certainly a violation. And again, we did bring fire here with us this morning. But in addition to this picture, there are a lot more, I'm sure, in the pictures to come that have a lot more egregious violations as well. And the place is littered on 3 parcels, and all 3 parcels are essentially the same thing, where they have multiple violations on each one of those parcels.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I want the record to reflect that we are joined by Council Member Green. So you can also see here, this is more for parking. This was taken yesterday, parking on the sidewalk, a few feet from the stop sign. And this is just all throughout the flea market. We have a lot of people who live in the Real Timbers area say, look, this makes it a bit unsafe for us to navigate past the stop signs, around the curves. A lot of things are hidden because of parking. So just want to bring that to continue through the slideshow. Again, taken yesterday, you have about 6-7 cars on the neutral ground. And when you come around that turn, it makes it very difficult to see what's ahead of you. Open dumpster, feet away from where cooking is happening, where people are buying and selling goods. And this is just a common theme of the Algiers Flea Market. We're not trying to shut it down, but if you're going to make the rules apply to everyone, whether it's a French Quarter, a French Market, Algiers Flea Market, I mean, this is one of the first things you see once you leave Jefferson Parish, entering into Algiers. Again, more the same, trash. This is an empty stall. More again, quality of life, uncleanliness issues. Here you have the pickup truck parking on the sidewalk, blocking traffic. Was there for quite some time. I'm not sure they were loading or unloading. Once again, a safety hazard.
That's the end of the slideshow.
That's in the slideshow. So we have revenue come in and speak about the vending. I know there are some people there who are not licensed. They kind of just sell whatever, whenever. You see the parking violations, and you see the trash and sanitation, the open dumpsters, the overflowing dumpsters. And this is a place where you sell food, you sell there's clothes being sold, there are young children in the area, and it is also by neighborhood. So those people coming to and from church on a Sunday, coming to and from work have to pass by, walk by this every weekend. So if we can get some enforcement eyes on this Saturday and Sunday, that'll be great. So at this time, I'll turn it over to parking and/or revenue to if you have any comments.
Good morning. Thank you, Council Panel, for having us here. I'm Valerie Petty, Parking Administrator. I have Katrina Kraft with me. She's the Division Manager for the Parking Enforcement. We are aware of the situation as far as the uncontrollable parking that's in that area at the flea market. On yesterday, we were out there and we cited 80 vehicles. 80. I'm sorry, 8 vehicles.
Still a lot. Still a lot.
It's still a lot. So we will be out there regularly. The flea market is open on Saturdays and Sundays, and we're aware of that. And so, yes, we'll be present.
Is there maybe, I know y'all all over the city, and we're coming to festival season, y'all pulled in many different directions. Can we establish a routine, not every Saturday and Sunday, but maybe twice a month? Or is that something y'all can commit to? Maybe not right now, but just try to work out a steady routine, because the issue is, in the past, you come out there, hit them real hard, the residents are cool with it, everyone's happy, then it's kind of forgotten about, and months go by.
Yeah, we're there every weekend. We get calls to come out for enforcement, so we have to be present every weekend.
Okay. All right. Anything else from Mr. Davis? What can we do about you see these if you go back to that propane, the exposed propane and gas tanks, and we have Councilmember Morrell here, so we'll do the amendment. We'll do the vote and the approval once we finish this slide. Okay. So look, my main concern with this, Mr. Davis, is if something happens, an explosion happens, it's going to be council member, code enforcement, why wasn't anything done? You knew about it. You see maybe 6 propane tanks, 4 or 5 gas tanks, an extension cord going from the gas generator through the window of the restaurant, or the makeshift restaurant. I mean, this just has danger written all over it. Something happens, that's not going to be pretty good. So what can we do to really get this enforcement going on?
If I may, Council, I have Chief Barron here with us. Come to the mic. And he could tell you about the dangers of having that propane tank and those electrical violations over that window.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Inspector Barron, one of the captains for fire prevention with the fire department. Just briefly looking at the picture, I can advise you that we don't allow outdoor cooking that's unpermitted, and it would require a fire watch if we did allow it. Second, depending on what type of cooking they're doing, if it's producing grease-laden vapors, like say bacon, beef, any other type of cooking that would produce grease, it would require a hood. It would also need to be like 5 feet away from the building. The manner in which the storage is being done close to the grill, you could just see that that's not a safe manner in storing it. You have gas next to propane next to a grill. Extension cords, that really falls under this purview of safety and permits. The generator also, if it falls the same, I believe it's the same requirement as the cooking, where it has to be 5 to 10 feet away from the structure. Just offhand, that's what I could see. And if you're having parking issues, and we do have to respond as a fire department, that's a whole nother issue that we have to face, because looking at the way in which they're parking, that could be blocking us from doing suppression efforts.
Okay.
So yeah, there's several potential hazards there. And then I'm familiar with the flea market, and it seems like in the past I worked in Jefferson Parish for the sheriff's office. They had a flea market there where people were cooking, and they had like established restaurants under a canopy. And I believe that closed within the last year or two, and I have a strong feeling that those people have moved and started constructing here, because I'm Hispanic. Typically where we come from in South America, there's no safety and permits. Mm-hmm. So my people feel like we can just erect a business and start going in there. And it's a question of education, that they're not familiar with the process. So it probably was fortunate that I was the one that came today. I can probably get with the community and relay what we need from them. and what the process is to do what they're trying to do, if it's permittable.
Right.
But I don't even know what that area is zoned for. It was, when I was a child, it was a flea market, but it dealt with like clothing and,
It's kind of evolved into a restaurant, flea market. You can buy pretty much anything. I remember going there as a child. You could buy CDs or DVDs and clothing, but now it's
so we're similar age, probably the same as when I was young, going there. I would say that we would get, in a situation like this, based on what you're telling us, we would put a joint task force together with safety and permits, health department, probably revenue as well, because if they're not permitted, then they shouldn't be technically operating anyway. 'Cause we don't look at this as like a garage sale. This is a regular weekend thing.
this is a regular weekend thing, and look, we're not trying to stop anybody from earning a living, but the rules are the same, whether under the Claiborne Bridge, whether in the French Market, whether along the parade route, and it becomes a quality of safety, a question of safety and quality of life. And we have a lot of residents who live in the surrounding neighborhoods saying, look, I'm tired of being afraid to turn the corner because I can't see what's coming because of the illegally parked trucks, or this the trash, or just again, overall quality of life. So if we could just have some eyes on it, from a code enforcement, revenue, parking. Thank you, Ms. Petty, thank you, Ms. Craft, for the work that y'all do.
Mr. Barry.
But as you can see, this is yesterday, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 vehicles parked on the neutral ground, plus that truck parked feet away from the stop sign on the sidewalk.
Yeah, and this and the pictures that you present, Councilman, are we were out there on the 21st of March, and the place has been cited for multiple violations at the flea market, and they've got a lot of cleaning up to do. So, and that's what we want to try to enforce. As he mentioned, maybe we can do a joint effort to go out to that area, because there's a lot of areas out this flea market that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
A lot. And we've brought the owners in before. They've came in, they've satisfied $20,000 plus judgments. And so they'll come in, they'll fix it up temporarily, and then they'll fall right back into the same habit of just letting the place go. So and I think if they was to just clean the place up and make it more manageable, particularly with traffic as well, then it'll cut down on some of the complaining in the area.
Okay. Well, thank you. Parking enforcement, code enforcement, appreciate your time. If y'all can just let us know, we won't broadcast it, but hey, we're about to go out there. We'll be out there this weekend, and keep us updated on what's happening. That'd be appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Revenue, anything y'all want to add to it? Y'all good? Revenue? Okay. Thank you. So we'll go to the roll call again and approval of the
We'll
minutes.
just recognize that Councilmember Morel is here to establish a quorum, and we can proceed to the approval of the minutes.
All right, make a motion to approve the last meeting minutes, second by Councilmember Morel. All in favor? 3 yeas, no nays. Minutes are approved. And we'll go to the first item, item number 3, discussion and vote. Ms. Anita, want to?
This is pursuant to our Council Rule 57, the consideration of amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement with Acadian Ambulance to extend the term for 1 year.
All right, we have someone from EMS to come in.
Good morning. Bill Samron, Chief of EMS. Thank you for allowing this to come before you. This is amendment number 2 for our existing contract with Acadian Ambulance to provide us with surge ambulances on a daily basis. As you know, Acadian provides ambulances within our 911 system each day, anywhere from 4 to 6 ambulances and anywhere up to 10 or 12 during special events and disasters. And so this contract is amendment number 2 that you are approving. And then we're also right-sizing the amount, the annual amount to $800,000 and the aggregate amount to $2.5 million.
Okay. Any comments, questions from the dais regarding this item? All right, I make a motion to adopt, second by Councilmember Morel. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, and I believe that this would go to the
Thank you
full
very much.
council. All right. We're going to go to item number 4, the status of the Treme. Well, let's do this. Let's go to item number 5, since we have a resident in the audience waiting. Still with DPW, we're going to go to item number 5, discuss the missing light posts on St. Rock Avenue. So we can have DPW, and although these are District C specific situations, kind of citywide issue with street lights, questions about ongoing street construction. I know District St. Rock kind of also bleeds into District D, so Councilman Green may also have some questions and concerns about item number 5. I'm sorry, item number 5. So we can go to the slide. You can see here, it's kind of hard for me to see it. Chuck or Winston, just kind of explain what we got right there.
So it's a picture, council member it's a picture of the light post on the corner. It's currently missing, so if you look at it, it's before and after. The green square shows the actual, I guess that's an orange cone that's replaced it. We also have a member of the community kind of taking those pictures that can kind of give them a better idea of what's going on. If you want to bring him up, Councilman.
Let me get Mr. Michael to come to the mic, and he can explain what's that. Now I know that's behind the St. Rock Market, which has a lot of visitors, so we want to keep that light in that area as lit as possible. So go ahead, Mike. If you want to just kind of walk us through the pictures that you've taken and highlight it for us.
Sure. Well, I just wrote a little thing. It'll only take me a minute
Okay, go
for me
ahead.
to read through that. So thanks for letting me speak today. On St. Rock Avenue, there are black lampposts that light the sidewalk along the blocks of 1100 St. Rock Avenue, spanning lakebound to 1800 St. Rock Avenue. There are 6 lampposts that have been knocked down. And when the lampposts have been knocked down in the past, they're usually replaced. But over the last several years, these 6 have not been replaced yet. There are also oak trees along the neutral ground that block some of the overhead tall streetlights. There are some blocks that have no streetlights at all. So these lamps are the only thing that really light the pathway, which is used by both residents and visitors, tourists alike. And I do know that these lampposts have been in the neutral ground. I have a photograph from 1952.
That's it.
So I know they've been there for at least 70 years. It's great to keep those in the neighborhood if we could. So pretty much, I just have 3 requests. One is if it's possible to find the correct department that oversees those lampposts. It could be Parks and Parkways, it could be DPW, who would be the person that I could work with. Second, just a candid response on if they could get replaced or if not. And then third, is it possible to set up some sort of a regular maintenance that they could be checked out, bulbs replaced, dimming bulbs could be brightened without the public having to come forward? If it's something that whomever the responsible party is, could they fit that into their regular maintenance schedule?
All right, thank you, Mr. Hathaway. I think that's you come in.
Good morning. To answer the questions, I guess, the Department of Public Works is responsible for street lighting in the public right-of-way in areas where it's kind of a larger park situation. That's either Nord or Parkway takes care of that, but in the medians, that belongs to DPW. The lights that are missing, or the light poles that are missing in question, are historic, and there are minimum orders that you have to place in order to get these poles. What we're trying to do is to tie this order on St. Rock with other historic areas in the city and place one large order and get those poles here. We do have a contractor that is responsible for maintenance of the streetlight system across the city. We do rely on the 311 calls in order for the public to notify us where lights are out or poles are missing. We use that in order to schedule the work. They do have about 4 to 6 crews working on any given day, depending on, their own in-house availability. And we do have a management group that helps us manage the streetlights and does the nighttime inspections. We get a lot of information, obviously, from the nighttime inspections. It takes about 6 weeks to go over all the streets of New Orleans for one complete report for nighttime and to see which lights are working and which ones are not. So it is about money and about availability of the contractor's workforce in order to get a lot of this done. But these lights will be replaced. We will get this order straight on however the vendor can do it for us. There are other locations. St. Charles Avenue is one where they have similar cast iron poles that are the fluted poles, which are both historic in nature. So we're trying to tie all of that together and do one project where we get all of these installed. The regular maintenance, like I said, we depend on 311 for that information to come in. We can schedule it a little bit quicker that way, but we are working to make our inspections more efficient. We're going to try to move some of those tasks in-house. We've been given a couple of positions to create a small streetlight section within the department, and then we'll use those employees to do these regular inspections.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris has a question. Before I turn the mic over to Councilmember Harris, you said it will be replaced. Is there a time frame for these here?
We have to place the order. These are cast iron, and because they're in historic districts, you have to replace exactly the way it is. You can't do like a less expensive version of it, so it's going to take some time. I would say at least just based on other reinstallations, about 4 months or so once we place the order.
All right, Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, you mentioned St. Charles Avenue, and that's why I pressed my button, is that there are historic poles along St. Charles Avenue that are broken, damaged, down, that need to be replaced. So as soon as we can get that order together, I think that would be great. So do you have a time frame on placing the order? I know it's 4 months from the time we place it, but when will the order be placed?
Yeah, the poles are actually a little bit different in size, so we're working with the vendor because there's a minimum. We're trying to tie the two together with them, and if they agree to treat both poles in the same order, then we'll be able to place it relatively soon. We do have some funds set aside, and so it shouldn't prevent us from placing the order.
Some of the poles on St. Charles Avenue aren't completely down, but have broken bases, have broken elements to them. Do we have a storage place to keep these broken elements that we can maybe not entirely replace but repair, where we can repair?
You talking now? I've noticed like on St. Charles,
Like St. Charles, like the bases.
where they're kind of cut off partially.
Yeah, where
maybe about 2 feet are exposed, something like that.
Or where the bases are cracked and it seemed to be pulled apart. Do we have a storage? Do we have a stock of these parts, these cast iron parts that could be potentially used for repair rather than entire replacement?
Yeah, I'm not sure about whether they could be reused, but we'll work with the contractor because we do depend on them to do that, even if it's just a repair. But yes, the storage is at the DPW maintenance yard on Norman Francis. We keep the poles that we order, like Poydras Street has special poles. Wherever they're special, we keep them there. And we'll keep the historic features there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Mr. Hathaway, this was knocked down in 2020.
Yes.
So we are 5 years later.
Yes, I can't really speak
Before you here.
for 24, but I realize that it's a huge undertaking. You know, I hate to be repetitive. There's 54,000 streetlights across the city. We are working towards a master plan for the entire city to identify where lighting is appropriate, where it's missing, what kind of fixtures work, is solar an option, all of those things. We've had a series of pilots over the last few months that have kind of helped us determine what's possible here. We also put out requests for information from the street lighting contractors nationwide. We've gotten some good feedback, so we're ready to move forward with the master plan and kind of unify how we approach across the city. That plan will not only just determine where a light pole needs to go, but also different power sources that can be used, maintenance and operations. It's going to look at it holistically.
Okay. Well, my last thing on this is the residents. I hear what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. You've only been here for a little over a year. Has it even been a year? Have you been here for a year?
Yeah, December 20th.
Okay, a little over a year. But their frustration is, look, it's 5 years.
Yes.
Can we just get some lighting done? So, Mr. Michael, any parting comments?
Yes, thank you for trying to put together a department to focus just on lighting. In the meantime, do you have a specific representative that we could follow up with on maybe a bulb that goes out, just one single person instead of a generic 311 request, maybe one person in your department that you could delegate, you can be responsible to field just like this is what's going on?
Well, first off, I would encourage you to always address the complaint through 311. That is the work order system for the department of all things, including streetlights. Contacting one person by email emails get lost, they get shoved down the list, and it is not a good way to handle things. 311 is the way to go. We also have if you go on the DPW page on NOLA.gov, there's a list of emails for specific issues. One of the email addresses is for streetlights. So if the complaint should be registered through 311, and you can follow up through that email address.
That's perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Garver. Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. That will conclude item number 4. So let's go to item number, I'm sorry.
Councilmember, there was one online comment.
Okay, thank you.
This is from Clifford Dugar. He says, just asking for updates on the lights of I-10 between Elysian Fields and Louisa. It says it's very dark and dangerous, and it's been out for several months.
Councilmember Green?
Can you comment on that, since it does come up often, the schedule so that people know what's going on relative to lights? And I do want to get a final clarification, because I have gotten mixed information on that. Is the city responsible for all of the lights on the Interstate 610, I-10, and the Pontchartrain Expressway? There seems to be a hybrid of responsibility, or maybe there isn't, and there's just misinformation. So since it was brought up, this is a good time to talk about it.
Sure. Councilman Green, the city is responsible for the operations and maintenance of the streetlights on I-10, I-610, and the Pontchartrain Expressway to where I-10 splits off to go over to New Orleans East. On Highway 90, from the raised portion from, say, the back of the Superdome through the Crescent City connection is the responsibility of the DOTD. We do not maintain those lights. The issue at hand at I-10, where the 610 merges through Louisa, is a capital project. The lights are off because there's a capital project going on there. The DOTD will install new lighting segments for the department with the agreement that we take over operations and maintenance. That section is dark because they are in the process of reinstalling lights there. You can see some of the poles are being kept under I-10 right near Franklin. That's the light poles that will be installed at that location. They also have a sign replacement contract that's going on for the overhead signs on I-10 and I-610, and I'm not sure if those two projects are the same or they're just working simultaneously, but when they do the sign projects, they turn off the power to the lighting so that it's safer for the sign contract.
But there is also this project going on, since we're talking about light, the project that's going on between Elysian Fields and Franklin and a little bit past Franklin, those major lights that are to go up, where the poles are down.
Yeah, on 610,
Right.
I-10, the merge, yes.
That is a city project?
State. The state does the capital improvements, we do the operations and maintenance.
Right. I've discussed it before. I just wish there would be some consistency, and also, honestly, at the end of the day, there are so many lights that the city has on the ground, and also the state has jurisdiction under the interstates. For example, the lights that were replaced on Claiborne Avenue. I can't see why the city has that agreement where we're responsible for the hundreds of lights above the interstate, but not under the interstates.
Yeah.
Food for discussion, but I brought it up before. I'm not in a position to do anything about it, but if there was going to be some, just for example, the state replaced the lights on the Crescent City connection because the state is responsible for lighting on state bridges, right?
And that particular one is part of that Highway 90 segment that they're responsible for.
Is the city responsible or the state responsible for the lighting on the Elysian Fields overpass, which is on a state thoroughfare?
That's the city, DPW.
You don't understand where I'm going with the challenges
it's
on this.
confusing, yes.
There just needs to be a little bit of discussion. It's not only confusing, it's just that the city has so many responsibilities. You know, very honestly, 54,000 lights, as you mentioned. I would think that there should be some consistency with the State Department of Transportation and Development having responsibility maybe for the interstates. They may not want to take it on, but just as the lights were replaced on the Crescent City connection, the state has the resources and the ability to do it. It's just worthy of a discussion.
Yes.
That's all. I mean, when you're under the interstate replacing lights, you might as well be able to replace them above, and also maybe give the city some relief on something that's a very challenging situation, you know?
I agree.
Yeah, and Councilman Green, all people know is the lights in my neighborhood are out, and why aren't they fixed? And it becomes a city issue. And we're learning today that not every light that's out is a responsibility of the city. It's also in partnership with the state. I just want to kind of put that out there to folks. And not every light that's out, not passing the buck, but not every light that's malfunctioning in the city is a responsibility of the city. Some of them are the responsibility of the state of Louisiana.
That's correct.
Okay.
And Councilman, I'll go a little bit further in my commentary to say that it is my desire to see the state take responsibility for the lights that are on the interstates. Since everything associated with it, whether it be cleaning the interstates, the areas under it, we've been doing a lot of cleaning, and I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but since the issue came up, we clean up under interstates all the time. The homeless encampments that were removed at the cost of the city. We do a lot of patrolling. Our EMS does a lot of work under the interstates where there are issues involving those who are unhoused, for example. Just recently under I-610, the state did do a fine job, but it is the state's responsibility to do that job. We also have places where there are construction marshaling sites, for example, off Gentilly Boulevard, that are under the state. I would just like to see there be a better coordination, and also I'm just asking that we look at the possibility of the state taking on the responsibility of the lights up above the interstates, just as they're responsible under it.
Yes.
Food for thought. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. That wraps up the discussion for item number 5. Now we're going to go to item number 4, our last item, the status update on the Treme Lafitte Group B project. And I just want to highlight on September 4th, the council passed an instrument that required a 21-day progress update. And we never got that 21-day progress update from about 5 months ago. So quickly, we're just going to go, just a quick recap. This is St. Peter in the Treme neighborhood behind the Masonic Temple. right off of Claiborne, go through the slideshow. Go back, I'm sorry, go back to 2021, a bit bumpy, but drivable. You see the new sidewalks and vegetation installed. Move forward. 2024, I believe this is when we came in to discuss the situation last summer, early fall, late summer. And 2025 is the grass has been cut, but as you can see, there's no work being done. The street is still undrivable, filled with litter. So what is the update? One, with the construction. Two, with the emergency contractor. When can we see some type of movement on the street, which we haven't seen in about 4 or 5 years?
The good news is I've signed the notice to proceed for the contractor, and they will start work on Monday, the 31st.
Okay. Is there is this the same contractor from the last time?
No, this is Fleming Construction was the low bidder on the emergency contract.
Okay. I know there's, and some of my colleagues have issues with the low bid. When you get low bid, when you do the low bid, you sometimes get what you pay for. And is there a way to not do low bid, or can you kind of educate the public the process with a low bid and why sometimes we have those?
It's required by state bid laws
Okay.
That you have to select the lowest responsible bidder.
Okay. So we shouldn't get any change orders that'll make this contract jump up to the highest bidder.
No, we
Okay.
should not.
That's sometimes the games a little bidders play. They come in low, but then they get you at the end.
The bids have been evaluated, and there are no items that are out of skew, so we should be fine.
And how much was this contract for?
I don't know the exact dollar. It was a little bit under $1 million.
Okay, so next Monday,
Monday, the 31st.
and there's their time this should be completed.
The time,
Timeframe.
I think it's 90 days,
Okay.
but I can get that to you.
Okay, so I'll give you April 1st, April, May, June. So 4th of July, this street should be smooth.
Should be smooth.
Should be
St.
smooth.
Peter and the one block of North Villeray.
All right. Any closing, parting comments, remarks from the dais? None. All right. I make a motion to adjourn. Second by Councilman Harris and Morrell. All in favor? All right. 3 yeas, no nays. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.